gravando. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while from our last transmission, and we are here for another Gospel at Home. According to the Spiritism, I'm going to ask my dear friend Rosangela to make our initial prayer. Please, Rosangela.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Please, Mr. Ruben, close your... Feche o seu áudio, Rubão. Obrigado. Thank you, Ruben. This is Allan Kardec book. Blessed are the poor in spirit, page 139. Why should be understood by poor in spirit? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. This belief has made fun of this maxim. Blessed are the poor in spirit, just as it has made fun of many other things without understanding them. By poor in spirit, Jesus does not mean persons devoid of intelligence, but the humble. He said, the kingdom of heaven is for them, and not for the proud. Persons of knowledge and intellect, according to the world, usually have such a high opinion of themselves and their superiority that they consider divine things as unworthy of their attention. Their gaze, focused on themselves, cannot lift itself up to God. This inclination to believe themselves to be above anything and everything quite often leads them to deny anything, even the divinity itself, which place above them could be humble them. Or if they do actually accept the divinity, they contest one of the most beautiful attributes, its providential action regarding the things of this world. They are convinced that they are good enough to govern the world just fine by themselves. Taking their own intelligence as a standard of universal intelligence and deeming themselves capable of comprehending everything, they cannot believe in the possibility of what they do not comprehend. Once they have passed sentence, they deem their judgment unappealable. If they refuse to admit the invisible world as an extra-human power, it is not because it is beyond their capacity, but because their pride revolts against the idea of something above which they cannot place themselves, and which would make them come down from their pedestal. Thus they have only smiles of disdain for anything that is not of the visible and tangible world. They attribute to themselves too much intelligence and knowledge to believe in these things, which according to them are good for the simple folk, and they regard those who take such things seriously as poor in spirit. Nonetheless, say what they may, like everyone else, they will have to enter the invisible world and that they now deride, where their eyes will be opened and they will realize this error. However, God is just and cannot receive into the same category those who scorn the divine power and those who humbly submitted to the divine established laws. Nor can they be equal to each other. In stating that the kingdom of heaven is for the simple, Jesus means that no one is admitted into it without simplicity of heart and humility of spirit. That ignorant persons who possess such qualities will be preferred to the learned who believe more in themselves than in God. In every circumstance, Jesus places humility in the category of virtues that bring us closer to God, and pride among the vices that distance us from God. And for a very obvious reason, humility is an act of submission to God, whereas pride is revolt against God. Therefore, it's more valuable for people's happiness to be poor in spirit in the earthly sense than rich in moral qualities. Okay, let's make a brief comment about this. Frequently, the most learned person are not uh, the religious type. And when they are religious, they believe that only their religion is good and carries the truth. And this is why the gospel say about the poor in spirit, means the simple persons. But you can have a simple person that is full of pride and judge others, and you can have a rich individual that believes in God, uh, use his wealth in the service of others, creating jobs and opportunities for everyone. So we have always to engage life like like a student, and if we have knowledge and wealth, we must always try to make this knowledge and wealth in service of others, because we are here for a purpose to serve others. And happiness, it's all about serving, not receiving. That's why nowadays people are so depressed, so lonely, because they only think about themselves. They don't think about others. And this is why pursuing happiness in things or good situations is like chasing our own tail, like a dog that runs in circles, because happiness is always a byproduct, a result of serving others. And I would like to thank you because you are watching us, and I want to ask God to to give peace to all the people in the world. And ask Rosangela for a final prayer. Thank you. Please, Rosangela.
We thank the good speech who have come to communicate with us and ask them to help us put into practice the instruction they have given us. We also hope they will show that each unfold us at the end of the station is fortified in the practice of good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering ignorance of the able and dismissing one of visual
Buenas noches, hermano.